good year for apples this year, at least in this garden anyway. These are Spartans, and it's taken about 3 years, but finally we've got a reasonable crop of about 100 apples, I would say. It's mid-September now, so they're starting to really darken off and being ready to be picked now, which is really good. Today I've found an owner for this hedgehog habitat that I made out of the old decking. It's different from the other one because this one has got a double chamber, so you can see they can go in each end and then come in, and there's a gap underneath and then a lid as well. I'll cover it in a membrane as well, but it's all going to go to one of the previous entrants for the Wild About Gardens, not Nature, Wild About Gardens award that the Kent Wildlife Trust does, and which I'm an assessor for, I guess is the right word. I judge the gardens, although it's not technically a competition. There are awards and stuff, and as you can see by the outro on this video, this garden is I think I won 2 silvers and then 6 golds, and then I think I got a gold this year. The only reason I enter it still is just really to keep myself on my toes, and it's good to have stuff to aim for. If you know people are coming round and they're looking at your garden, and you always think of ways to improve it and what you can do, so it's good for me to have a goal. But technically, as I'm an assessor, it's a little bit sort of inside, but it doesn't matter because they don't care. It's not a competition, and it's just really to promote wildlife. So if you're in Kent, I'm not sure about other wildlife trusts, but if you're in Kent, then the Kent Wildlife Trust does a really good one, Wild About Gardens. It is a beautiful day today. It's lovely and still, and it's just one of those lovely late autumn days where everything's calm. And today I'm going to deliver this to one of those previous entrants who has got loads of hedgehogs, which is really rare nowadays. But I'm going to drop it off to her house and give it to her, and hopefully she can find a good place in her garden in which to place it. And I know she's had babies and stuff in the last 12 months in the garden, not herself, so hopefully she'll get some good use out of it. Here it would just be wasted because I've got 9 habitats or hibernaculums or whatever you want to call them, and I haven't got any hedgehogs, so it's a shame, but there's no point keeping it here. But what a great use of the old decking. And if you do have an old deck or any wood, it just shows you what you can make if you put your mind to it. Whatever you do, unless the wood's totally unusable, don't throw wood away. What else can I tell you? There's not a lot going on really. The pond is still doing well. Well, we'll find out in a second, shall we? Because I haven't looked for about a week. Hopefully it's not leaked. No, she's still good. I didn't top it right up, but it hasn't gone down. It's all starting to settle now. The sediment's settling in there, so that's good. Everything's good there. Just looking, yeah, there's no sign. It hasn't dropped down. It was about 4 or 5 inches down when I left it, and it still is. All of this seed has had like a second wind. So I planted this stuff last October, September, October, and then that came through and is now gone and is regrowing. And this stuff was all March this year, and that never went to flower, but it's kind of static now. I guess waiting for next year. It's not going to flower this year, although a few of the borages have, but it's I can't cut any of it because probably I miscalculated that it would even come up. It wouldn't come up into flower, this stuff, when I planted it in March. It took a few months for the plants to get the roots down and get established underground, and now they're kind of, okay, what are we doing? Some stuff came up, stuff that's gone to seed, but most of it kind of just is now sitting there, and it's all beautiful different wildflowers. So the last thing I want to do is cut them all to shreds with a mower or a strimmer or even by hand. So the plan is to work my way over, which is what I've done here, and cut all the high stalks off, and then let it all go for next spring, and hopefully it will be good. There's a bit of oak there. I can't remember what I was going to use that for. I think I was going to make a ramp, but never mind. Maybe a nice little bit of solitary bee, because oak is fantastic for solitary bee habitats. So all the habitats haven't moved for the last few weeks. No sign of any solitary bees there at all. So that's definitely now put down for the winter. So it's a good time, as I've done here, to move everything around, because I need to get into that area now for the new deck, which is going in next weekend. The compost, oh, the compost bins. Well, it's been an endless fight with the rats, bless them. And they were living under there, but actually there's no sign of them there anymore, so they're under the shed. But they're lovely, and fair play to them, and as much as I don't like seeing it, it is nature, and they do get predated by birds of prey, sparrowhawks in particular. But they're entitled to be here as much as I am. They have never hurt us or given us any diseases, and I don't believe any of the stuff I read. I believe the worst thing you can do for your body, mind and spirit is to move yourself away from nature. I've never had a rat come close enough to me to give me anything, so I let them live and let them do their thing. But this is like paradise. I don't know if you've seen the movie Ants, I think it is. I can't remember the name of the main character now, the famous director in Hollywood, Woody Allen. They find insectopia, and that's what these bins are like, these compost bins, because they are full of all our kitchen scraps. And the ants have dug it up, dug it up, dug it up. Every night I come and fill the holes underneath. But this technique of putting pebbles all the way around, it makes it so hard for them to move the stuff. So what they've done is they've gone and worked around this side instead. So, and I no doubt this morning, yep, they've burrowed it all out again. You can see there's a brown paper bag. So they've started working, and down in there'll be a hole underneath again. So later on I'll have to clear all that out, and I'll try and get some pebbles around this side as well. But they were digging in over there. So the pebbles definitely work around your compost bins if you want to deter the rats. Other than that, this weekend we'll just be moving all these pots and planting more stuff in, because I have put in all the stuff from the stairs down there has been planted in now where the habitats used to be. So you've got the Buddleia here, 2 lots of Ceanothus and a Hebe down the bottom. So that will form a nice pollen nectar rich fence line stroke hedge there. And then I guess over here I'm going to put in the Erysimum or Bowls Mauve, which is just about the best plant you can get in your garden for bees, because it flowers most of the year round, really hardy. You can break off stems of it and just plant them in the ground and they'll just grow. Take you down to show you it. This is it here. It's looking a bit scrappy at the moment, but look, it's middle of September and it's still flowering, and I'm not the greatest at tending to plants. But it only grows to about this high, about 4 foot off the ground, so it's a good plant. I mean, this is up in the air, but it's a really good plant for your garden. It's a Erysimum. I said it before, but it's Alan Titchmarsh's favourite plant. You can get them in yellow as well, which I've got somewhere else. But that will be going up by the pond later on today. All of the blueberries have come up. They've all been dug up and they're waiting a new owner, whoever wants to take ownership of those. They're established blueberry plants. So it's clear this made this open here because it was making the kitchen dark and it was really hard to mow and get to. So now I've moved the deck up. You can see the old deck line there. Now the deck's been moved up, I'll be able to get a mower in there once a year and clear it all out. So yeah, it's still a bit like a war zone, but it's definitely improved. And next weekend we start with the deck, so touch base with me then. Probably a week and a half I'll have a video on, hopefully, of the new deck going in. It's a lot smaller, so should be a lot easier to do. And then after that it's tidy up and kind of put the garden to sleep again for the rest of the year, and then back to spring next year. But it's all gone really well. Hard work, but hopefully you've been following the videos from the start and you can see the whole project. But thanks for watching. Ring the bell, like and subscribe, all that malarkey. And we are at 950 subs, I think, and 3,300 hours watched. So we're 700 hours short of 4,000 and about 50 subs, but we're getting there, and it's really appreciated if you're watching these videos because the money will go to charity. I estimate once we get re-monetized, we should be able to do just from the channel 2 or 3 acres a year, about 300 quid. It's not a lot, who knows? If it's exponential and it goes up and up and up, then you could be looking at 5 acres a year, and that's just from watching these videos. So thanks guys, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.